And one of the things that I've observed that is quite useful for that convert who's recently become Muslim to take a step back and think, actually, how would my parents, how am I coming across to other people? In the sense, am I making these radical changes that realistically I can't sustain? Because I think there's two areas that I feel gets overlooked in convert care, or at least where a lot more work needs to be done. The heritage Muslim community in terms of being prepared and welcoming new Muslims into the faith, and then secondly the family of converts, like the immediate family members, particularly if people are living at home. What advice do you have for people who maybe fit into that situation, who are in that situation? They're living at home with family members, and they're trying to navigate maybe some difficulties in the practice, or anything. What?
Yeah. Well, I think that is one of the challenges. Is not so much how much you take on, although that's definitely part of it. One of the challenges that a convert has is they're unable to, and it's not just a convert, to be honest, anybody really truly committing to the faith, any kind of recommitment, is that it becomes difficult for a person to prioritize everything that they're doing. And so one of the great challenges is to not fall into a misprioritization. So for example, one of the things that I think we have in the West, and this is one of those sociological, psychological things to look into, is that identity becomes a really large part of it. And so things that are expressions of identity tend to take on greater importance. And the intangibles, which are, according to our tradition, far more important, how you treat your parents, start to take a back seat, right? And so this misprioritization becomes the telltale sign. This is one of the things, one of the ways in our tradition, this is what the scholars of spiritual path tell us, is one of the ways in which you know that your religious fervor has the ego involved in it, is that you start to misprioritize things. You do the things that make you feel like a good Muslim. They're not the things that God is asking of you, right? You're picking those things that give you something in return. And so if you have a rocky relationship with your parents, it becomes easy to sort of say, well, they're not believers, and so we have to part ways. I'm a believer now. And it's no, actually the religion would tell you that you should lower the wing of humility to them, and that you should be kind to them, and you should so you have to ask, you should begin with, what does Islam say I should be doing in this scenario? Because Islam itself is balanced. So it's not, the problem isn't taking on too much of the religion per se, although that can be a problem for some people. I think for most people, their challenge is in which aspects of the religion to apply first. And so we can get lost in details that I wouldn't say aren't important, but they're just not priorities. And these other aspects, which are great priorities, can be neglected. So definitely, I think keeping family bonds would be a very high priority for anybody newly committing to the religion. And each of those, everybody will have a different situation, and there will be complexities. But the easiest thing to say is, other than a parent's animosity towards the religion, will they say that the religion made their son or daughter or brother or sister a better family member, a better person? And if the answer is yes, then you're probably doing something right. But if the answer is wrong, and Islam is now dividing you from them, then more than likely there's something being misapplied. Again, somebody might have serious animosity towards the religion, and obviously that's a different case. But one of the converts that I actually interviewed for this, was one of the things his mother said was, he was in drugs and he was in the wrong crowds, and he became Muslim, and he became this polite, quiet kid who just always did what we asked him to, right? Like, this Islam thing is amazing, right? She wasn't Muslim at the time. Probably, I mean, 15 years or so later, she did become Muslim, right? but her initial impact, her initial impression of Islam was, whatever this religion is, it's doing good for my son.
Mhm.
And so I think that's important as well, is that people can see the light that Islam brings into our lives, and that it enhances who we are as people, it enhances our relationships, it enhances our blood ties, our neighborly ties, all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.